Radrey, you are back rather quickly, I must say. No one's on the page yet, so let's just get
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, maybe people watching this later thinking, what were these guys doing in the beginning?
I wish you could adjust the color and stuff on the actual page, but you can't.
That's like no one's watching.
7 people.
Because no one's watching. Oh, 7 people are watching. Well, 3 of them are.
Let me tell you about my first homosexual experience with a goat. While no one's watching.
Right. That's what I came here for.
I just want you to know I got full consent. And
consent from the owner?
All that complaining is that's just goat talk. He was actually quite happy.
Okay.
Speaking of which, so we have Radley on the show.
Sam is having flashbacks of his childhood.
What?
Species.
He's from New Zealand, man. All they do is that's how they initiate them. That's how they become.
Oh, you said Hiko Simon. I thought you said Tikio Sam's having flashbacks of his childhood.
No, Hiko Simon.
What? Okay, all right.
I do not mention
past and present. They're different things, Radley.
Okay, all right. Hey guys, thanks for having me on the show. Name is Radrey. Have a podcast called Why Come Japan.
Why Come Japan? Yes. He tricked me into a 2-hour interview the other week.
It's normally only supposed to be an hour. Normally,
technically speaking,
why did you cut me off, man? I was like,
yeah, but technically speaking, if he
just
just lets you talk, that's not tricking you. That's just that's just you hijacking the show. So you're annoyed that he
being too polite. He's like, wrap it up, man. I'm like, how long is this show?
Yeah, a normal show is just about an hour.
Yeah, we've got Simon or Channel Map is in the comments there.
Oh, Simon.
Yeah, I was on his show as well.
Yeah,
he does a show quite similar to mine, but his is on iTunes.
Simon, if you are to re-invite me to your show, and if you're still keen, I'll accept next time. I turned him down a couple months ago because I was in a bad mood. So.
Oh,
you're always in a bad mood.
That's what my wife said. She brought up something that she brought up. I snapped at her 3 weeks ago because she undercooked some chicken, and now she brought it up tonight as a because she's a woman and she remembers everything. Because I'm just sexist to say that, but yeah, she brought it up again and basically slammed me in the face with that. As a it's a weapon. Any mistakes you make with a married woman, forget it. Or a non-married woman. Radrey, and you're with a non-married woman.
I love how you don't just limit that to your own wife. Just any married woman. Any mistake.
All women. Oh, come on. Back me up. Oh, deny it. I dare you.
Certainly my wife. Certainly, yes. I do not extend it to all married women in the world.
You make a mistake 3 years ago, you screw up, and they bring it up to you like, look, we've had this house. We live in a house, okay? We bought a house like 6 years ago. Right, and we had a fight soon after buying the house, and I said, "I only bought this house because I thought it would make you happy." And now she always throws it in my face. You never wanted this house. You said that. I said, "No, I just."
Oh, yeah. That happens. There are conversations from 10 years ago that get brought up.
I'm actually very happy with the house. I'm very happy. This is. I mean, it's a tiny. I mean, it's not small. Now that we've got 2 kids, it's going to be small. I can sense it.
So, Radrey, you must be listening to this thinking, when can I get married?
What?
Well, what? Say that again?
You must be listening to this conversation thinking, when can I be married too and have all of this?
Well, no, I'm kind of preparing myself for all this, so, I mean...
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just, bracing myself.
Get the physical favors into the contract, like Trump did, because he's got it in the contract.
Physical favors? What's that?
I'm sure Trump has got. I get fellatio once a month from Melania, and it must be written down in a contract somewhere.
That's a very poetic way to say it. Physical favors.
Well, maybe he spelled it out in detail in the subheadings, but yes.
I can't imagine Trump being articulate, so I don't think he did.
Well, he hires lawyers for that.
So. That's true.
Although his lawyer is Rudy Giuliani, so I'm sure it's even worse on paper.
Oh, God.
Hey.
What?
He's making America great again. So you guys.
Who is? Trump?
Yes. Stop hating.
Even after that whole Kanye West fiasco, did you watch that?
Hey,
I didn't see that. Did you see
be
it?
nice to Kanye.
My
He's going to be the
God.
next UN ambassador.
You should watch it. You should watch it just to see how mentally ill that man is.
Which
You should
one?
watch it. The one where he's in the Oval Office
No,
talking
which
to
one
Trump.
is mentally ill?
Both of them. I don't know. I mean, okay. The one who's wearing the hat. There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
The one who's wearing the hat, or the one who created the hat? That the other guy's wearing.
The one who's wearing the hat. Kanye West. The man
So
also.
I heard Don Lemon. I think his name is Don Lemon. Another black TV personality say that
Don
it's a minstrel show.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You can't. You're white.
Okay. All right.
You're not allowed.
We need an expert here. I guess I'm the wrong guest.
I
Are
guess so.
you Jewish, Radrey?
Am I Jewish? No. It'd probably help me. I remember Simon saying that would be good for my
Yeah, that would be good
entertainment
for you.
background.
If you were Jewish, you could claim Jewish minority status. You know?
Well, let's start
Change
with
my name
that.
to...
You're part
Talk-
Japanese, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a quarter Japanese.
Quarter Japanese, so yeah.
Are you?
Yeah. I
Why
know,
are
I
you
don't look it
surprised at
right. Everybody always says that, so I'm
Yeah.
used to it.
I was like, you're saying you
I'm not going to have any
disqualify me as a white
microaggressions.
person.
Well, I'm not talking about your face, but part of you doesn't look like it.
Oh.
You're always holding down the quarter racial people here. I think it has to stop.
It's
Treating
fine.
everybody is.
I don't know. I kind of have my attitude about it is sort of like how Obama is about being black. You know, he's actually half black, but it's like when a taxi driver sees him on the street, he's just like, pick up that black person over there. You know, they're not going to say, pick up that half black looking guy. You know, they're not going to say that.
Well, I mean, take that. They really should look at Obama and say, pick up that half white person. Wouldn't it be great if we could live in an age where that's what happens? I mean, again, I think perhaps if he goes to Wakanda or something, that'll come true. But yes.
So in Japan, I think I'm white.
Yeah.
Well, Hispanic is not a race. So, yes, you don't have to be a Mexican anymore.
But in America, I'm Puerto Rican or Cuban or Mexican.
You get to be like pretty much any movie stereotype that you want to be. You can pick your character.
Yeah. Racially ambiguous.
Yes. Let's get to the topic tonight, which is
Before we get into the topic,
Yeah. What is the topic?
well,
which
he's
is
got a news story that he wants to talk about, but I want to talk a little bit more about Radrey more than about him being quarter Japanese. I want to why come Japan? I want to talk a bit about.
Let's talk about Radrey. Let's talk about Radrey's
Yeah.
series.
Yeah. So
Yeah, sure.
I want to hear a bit about why come Japan, but most importantly, when you describe it to us, I want to know if you've reached an answer. You know, is there a reason that we come Japan?
Why people come to Japan?
Have you got a final 10 words or less answer to the question, having gathered all this data from all of these pretty impressive guests you've had on? Like, who have you had on, and what is the conclusion of the whole series that will allow the whole thing to end?
Oh, kind of like the Wikipedia or the Cliff Notes of
Yes. What's
why come Japan?
What's the conclusion? This is a scientific project analyzing why we all come to Japan. Talking to very famous and authoritative people. I mean, again, you've had amazing guests on it. So what have you learned?
What have I learned?
Yes.
Well, I know I definitely learned that the question why come Japan or why did you come to Japan is a very good question to ask because it has many answers, which is why it makes good podcast.
So who's your
Podcast. Am I on a podcast?
I mean, I don't know what you can define it as a podcast, right? I mean, it's on iTunes, therefore, I think I have some right to call it a podcast.
I didn't know. I didn't know you were on iTunes. I just thought you were.
give permission to him to put it on iTunes. That means you can sue him now for
Yes.
that. You realize you didn't.
Yeah,
I'm on iTunes. Yay! I didn't know that.
Oh, he
Yeah.
just gave permission. That was permission. I saw that.
yeah.
Raising
Get
both
out,
your hands and
Jones.
saying yay. Yeah. So who have you had? Who have been your most memorable guests?
Well, I mean, I guess the biggest hitter is Tokyo Kuni. I had him on. I'm going to try to get Betamax DC if I can get him on, but I
Are
don't
you
know.
still in
We'll see.
contact with him?
His
No.
biggest hitter is
I
a
know.
guy who hasn't made a video on YouTube in 8 years.
8 years, yeah. You remember that name? I hope you do. Yeah, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get him on. Anyway, people who I had on, Tokyo Kuni being one. I've had a lot of people.
Eric Surf 6.
Air Surf 6. Should I go by? How should I go through the ones that are most memorable, or the ones that have the best numbers?
No, the ones that are the ones that are most memorable for you, like what you consider your top 10 episodes.
Penis length. They say like you can like judge the size of a man's penis by looking at his nose or something. I don't know. Is that true, Victor?
I don't know. I've got mine. All I know is my nose is bigger than Hiko Simon's.
Okay.
And yours, for that matter.
All right. Good to know.
It can't be true.
This is on your channel, so I don't feel bad about that.
No, it's all right. No worries. Hey, Tokyo Andrew.
Yeah, Tokyo Drew. Oh, he's in the chat. That's what he's saying.
We should have Tokyo Drew on this show, Hiko Simon.
Yeah, I love that. He's a good guy.
Ask him about Canadian awkwardness. That was probably the best part of our conversation.
He's a grandpa. Is he a grandpa yet?
I think that was one of the things, right?
I guess he's a grandpa. Yeah, no, Canadian awkwardness. We were talking about how a friend of mine has like something what's called a Canadian standoff from time to time, where everybody tries to be overly polite and nobody can make a decision.
That's like being Japanese.
Yeah, kind of. Like nobody wants to open their beer first.
Unless you're on the subway, and then it's basically a Mexican standoff.
Okay. Well, yeah. Anyway, that was an interesting conversation we had. Yeah, in terms of like interesting guests, I mostly like interviewing people who like giving interviews or who give interviews themselves. Like the person in the chat here, Simon Ochanamo, was an interesting one. There's a podcaster named what's his name? Inside Japan Podcast.
Yeah,
I think you were on his show, Hiko.
Yes, I think I was on. Yeah.
He's given me a lot of tips and a lot of pointers how to run podcasts.
What's that guy? Who is that guy?
His name is James Vinovich. He's in Fukuoka, and he does a show that's sponsored by jobsinjapan.com. And basically every week he has like some guy who, got a job in Japan.
No,
basically.
Not unemployed people.
So he's bigoted against the homeless is what you're saying.
Yeah, that'd be a good moniker, I guess.
Working homeless.
Screw the homeless.
As long as they have jobs.
For me, every interview is special, personally. But I mean, I'm sure the internet feels differently.
I know they're all like children. But which is your favorite child?
Okay, like
put one. Rank them in order.
Yeah, rank them in order. Well, I guess I don't know. I have to do with the one that performs the best or gets the most comments. Tokyo Kuni.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
so I haven't seen this yet. Is it good? I guess it's good.
I mean, everybody seems to thank me for it. They're like, "Thank you for making this." It's like, because obviously, I mean, if you watch it, Kuni seemed a little offended that I didn't. I didn't even bother to Google his name to see what he was doing. I mean, I did a little bit. I did a little research.
I think he's on NPR or something, right?
Yeah, he's on PBS.
Oh,
but I guess I asked him a few questions that he was taken back by. He's like, dude, I use YouTube every day. This isn't my reintroduction to the internet, was pretty much what he said. And everybody was kind of like pretty much a couple of people in the comments were like, yeah, I guess we could have just really Googled him, but I don't know.
Again, this is the internet. It's funny. We used to say that this is the MTV age, and everything has to be summarizable in 3 minutes. But now it's not even that. It's like seriously, it's like 2 seconds, and nobody's got time to Google.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Sorry. I mean, he was a real dick to me in an interview years ago.
Right.
And that aside, I don't understand the fascination because he was just the first.
Well,
yeah. You always remember your first.
That's true. The first is special. And I just want to be totally clear on this. So you liked your interview with Kuni better than the one with Victor, bearing in mind that Victor just said
oh, God damn it.
that he strongly dislikes.
You fucking dragged my interview out for 2 hours.
Okay. All right. I did really like your interview, actually, Victor. It comes in a close second.
Now, you know what? I did not like my interview because after I did your interview, which I just talked about I mentioned some things. One good old friend of mine said, "Oh, apparently Victor only cares about money now."
What?
That's what he
Okay.
got out of the interview.
All right. I'm
So,
sorry that they feel that way.
Bradley,
I just came back from Tokyo, helping Hiko Simon arrange a Tokyo meetup for Jvloggers. And apparently, I'm not a community guy anymore. All I care about is money. So
yeah.
But I mean, it's a priority. When you got
Bradley,
to,
are you going to apologize to Victor for making him talk about how much he loves money?
I'm not going to answer that. I had no comment. No, and to be candid and be frank about your interview, I did actually learn something. I mean, it did register something. It did resonate with me. There are things I still took away from it.
Anything I said probably had value, but I'm sure I do not live up to my own advice. I mean, I'm probably my worst enemy. Like I know what to do, but I don't do it.
Okay. Well, I mean, your video gets good traffic. I will say that. I mean, the limited amount of traffic it has, because I mean, this show is still kind of in its infancy. It kind of needs, I don't know, a little more direction.
How is it going? Your channel? Are you
not very well? I mean, I don't know. It's not raking in dough or anything. I mean, like I'm not. It's just doing kind of average. I mean, it's not like this isn't 2009. I think I mentioned before. 2009 was a better time to make videos because nobody was on the platform. Now everybody's here. Now you got to be like, you have to like put all this effort into like putting content up, and like I realized like even just doing this podcast, it's not enough. Like I have to put in, like, people want to see vlogs, they want to see I don't know, anything pretty much that I put up. But you know,
an Instagram of a girl in bikinis.
Yeah, that always helps too. Instagram girls in bikinis. I don't really have access to that, but yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, and I always want to put a lot of effort and time into making a good video, you know, but whereas making a podcast is much easier, you know.
Your editing skills and your content is very good. I've been honestly very impressed with some of the videos you've made.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, I want to put good time and effort into every video because, you know, it's like once you slip on one, it's just sort of like, I don't know, I kind of lose myself in it. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, though, but sometimes you kind of capture these moments. They're like, wow, it's so glad you captured that one moment, you know, opposed to just like tinkering with videos forever. Because sometimes you just got to do it. I don't know. Make sushi train videos and things like that, and film dead bodies in the the forest.
Yeah, in time and place. There's a time to make a good creative video and put a lot of effort into it. But at the same time, for something like this, if the main thing is the content of the interview, you know, preparing for the interview and executing it well.
Pause for a second, just because we've got 28 people here now.
Yeah.
To reintroduce today we were talking to Radrey, who
hey guys.
runs he has a series on YouTube called Why Come Japan? Is it Why Come to Japan or just Why Come Japan?
Why Come Japan?
Why Come Japan?
2 words.
He interviews people and asks them why they came to Japan. And he's had about, what is it, about 20 now?
31 as of Ronan Dave yesterday.
As of yesterday, 31 people. He has found 31 foreigners who've come to Japan who've agreed to be on his show. And they're interesting. And Radrey is also a very good editor, and he's been here. He's a vet. He's one of the first Jvloggers. And he disappeared for a while, but he came back. And he's trying to get his channel back into. Am I right about this? Back into partnership?
I actually, well, I still have the partnership. The thing is, I just can't make money. You know, I can't make money off the ads. I thought YouTube was a little vague in their wording about what it is they're taking away from the partnership program. So but basically, I still have the partnership.
But you need 240,000 minutes of views per year?
Something like that. I mean, I'll get back to it eventually, but the problem is that this podcast is real.
How's that journey?
It's okay. I mean, growth is slow. It's very slow. I mean, I need to collaborate with more people and push people to like share links and things like that to get people on the channel and to, you know, just engage. Because that's what you have to do these days.
If I can share a little information on that. So I had a channel called Japanese for Morons for a few years, and it was had 21,000 subs and was doing pretty well. But I just didn't have time after the kids came, so I just kind of abandoned it. And then when I tried, I'm trying to bring it back now, and I've made 11 videos this month, one every day, and it's tough. I'm only, it's trying to get viewers back. It's pretty tough. I'm up to the yearly views are 170,000 minutes, and I need 240. I'm still like 2 or 3 months away from that, but it's hard to get the views back. Yeah, I did find that the longer videos do get the more views.
Really? Yeah. Although they always keep tweaking the algorithm to sort of make what they attach value to different. So hopefully that still holds.
No, well, I mean they wrote out the requirements: 240,000 minutes. So that's what you need, right? So
yeah, something like that.
So I experiment a lot with shorter videos and longer videos, and really good videos didn't get as many views as got the most views, but they didn't get as many minutes as the longer videos. I did one video teaching an article that took 45 minutes, and it got the most views. So I would say go for long content until you can get your numbers. And
well, I mean, your interview is pretty long. It's 2 hours. And I'm very pleased with it. There's no interview no, there is one I'm dissatisfied with.
Oh, okay. Tell us about the one you're dissatisfied with.
This one, you'll like this one. I mean, it has good numbers. It's a guy I used to work with. He's made quite a name for himself on the internet here. Maybe you've heard of him. He goes by the moniker or the title or handle, whatever you want to call him, Explorer Nick. And have you heard about him?
No.
Okay, probably better. Where do I even begin with this? He was a guy who, how do I sum this up in a few words? He's kind of a sexpat.
Oh yeah, sexpat. I've got it.
Somebody who kind of like goes to different countries, just basically to, for what did you call that, Victor? Physical favors?
To get physical favors, yeah.
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 Prenup with Japan was physical favors.
Something, Nick?
Explorer Nick. Do you know who David Bond is?
Yeah, David Bond's a dick.
Yeah, he's his protege, and they produced fake news in Taiwan successfully, I might add. They got away with it.
Looks like he's a very unattractive white man. Yeah.
That was, I mean, I don't know. You're probably going to hate me for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. That was the worst interview I've ever done.
Okay. But there's art in that. So talk us through it. Like, talk us through the awkwardness and the terrible moments.
Okay. Number one, he was kind of inebriated. He was drunk. I'm pretty sure he was drunk. And most of the questions I asked ended up coming back like to answers of, like, oh yeah, you're right. Just agreeing with me the entire time.
You're too soft. That's the problem.
He's wearing mirror sunglasses.
Yeah. No, I guess
to make him look like a really bad cop. Except he's wearing a baseball cap, which makes him look like a...
Well, I don't know. Personally, my philosophy is you don't want to be rude to the interviewee. It's like if I'm interviewing Charles Manson, I'm not going to like,
Oh, but you can
give
bust
him
his
shit.
balls.
I could have, but I wanted to see where the interview would take me, but it didn't really go place. I guess it went someplace.
Did you talk about the sex pet element?
Oh, of course. I mean, talked about this. He made like him and David Bond made a whole series about how they pretty much. So what they did, I'll just explain it from the very beginning. What they did is they went to Taiwan, and they pretty much made a fake live stream, right? They made a fake live stream, kind of like the one we're doing right now, except this is real. But he made a fake live stream, and shit, how do I even explain this? I'm trying to think about how he did it. Because basically, so the idea was he wanted to get more signups on his Sexpat page, come see the raw videos on my Patreon, right? That sort of philosophy, to push it. And it worked because so basically he made these kind of triggering images. I would say kind of like insulting Chinese people, like scrunching up his eyes, making himself look squinty-eyed and everything. And you know, he wrote his the website's name was Taiwan Girls Are Easy, because he knew that was a big trigger word in like Taiwan. And so he found this website called Apple News or something. Maybe you know of it, or it's an Apple. Something. And so he was constantly baiting them to like saying, hey, why don't you see this guy? He's causing so much trouble. And only because when he made the news, when they took the bait, and then a bunch of these other news outlets picked up the story, a bunch of people signed up for his
Patreon.
For his Patreon.
David Bond tried doing that with me by using other accounts.
Oh, really?
Hey, you should make a video about David Bond. He's an asshole. And it was a whole bunch of these accounts that they had no subscribers or nothing, and they were basically David Bond wanting attention.
So basically, the whole fake live stream thing I was just talking about a minute ago, they set that whole thing up pretending that they were still in Taiwan, and what they did is they mirrored that video. They recorded a video of them in Taiwan. They mirrored it on OBS, making it look like they're in Taiwan still. That's brought more traction to them, bringing even more signups to their Patreon. Basically, it was very smart. I mean, it's very well calculated. And I mean, what's his name? Nick, Explorer Nick. He goes around and he wears a "Make America Great Again" hat. And he's not even American. Like he totally just wears it just to trigger people. And I even asked him that, like, are you wearing it to trigger people? He's like, no, I just agree with what he says. I'm like, what?
Right.
Anyway, whatever.
Okay, so
I could go on and on about this. I mean, what else would you like to know about it besides
his real name? Aaron Eckel?
Nick? No, his real name is up there. That's his real name, Nick. I probably shouldn't tell it on air.
Don't dox people in the middle of a live stream. No, the point. So what for you constitutes a good episode, and what makes that a not good episode?
Well, I mean, what makes a good episode basically is if the guest is comfortable and they have something very interesting to say, and I guess this is kind of a selfish thing to say, but actually I get something out of it. That's where I feel like it's a good episode. Whereas,
so like money, it'll be okay, even if I get it. The content. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's like if, like, for example, the Nick episode, I still think is a relatively okay episode. It just didn't feel like I really got anything out of it other than him just being, inebriated and not being able to answer not being able to answer questions to their fullest, But it just reminds me, like, I have to consider the source of who I'm asking. So
So. Okay. No,
I wouldn't mind interviewing David Bond. I wouldn't, I would interview, I don't know, Julian Blanc, as a matter of fact. I wouldn't care. I mean, I'd like to get inside their head. What makes them think,
Which head are you talking about? Because that's
right here. One here.
Well, no, I mean, seriously, that's what I pretty much decided that they're just about dicks. So.
Probably. I mean,
life philosophy.
Maybe I shouldn't get in their head. I mean, I don't know. Like, would I get stuck? Like for example, if I got in the head of like Ted Bundy or something, would that mess me up?
Sex is a wonderful experience. Everybody likes sex. Everybody wants more sex. But these guys, they define their lives on having sex with many women, and that's I'm sorry, but there's not much creativity to that.
Although you were just talking about Ted Bundy, right? Did Ted Bundy have a lot of sex?
I'm sure he did, didn't he? He killed the women, right?
Oh, I suppose in the end, yes, if that counts.
I mean, I don't know. It's like psychopathic tendencies, I mean, everybody loves him. Like, why do we know the name Ted Bundy, know it for a reason. 'Cause
Well, we get him mixed up now with that guy from Married with Children, but yes, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
What's that guy's name?
Al
Well,
Bundy.
Al Bundy. There you
Al
go.
Bundy. Yeah.
We'll watch that.
So anyway, sorry, I wanted to cover that first. But Victor, you have
no
a topic
problem.
lined up for tonight that you want to share with everybody and us.
Well, I had a question
Yeah, sure.
for you. There's a guy. There's a Pole. I think he's Polish. His name sounds Polish. I sent it to Hiko. Let me see if I can find that link now. Hold on a second. Hiko, I sent it to you online, I think. Yeah.
Yes. You send it to me on like every. Yeah, I got it.
It's on The Guardian. It's an article called "Legless Japanese Businessman: The Photographer Who Caught a Tokyo Epidemic." Epidemic.
Okay.
So
It's a new phenomenon.
maybe it's on a site called The Guardian, which I guess they use clickbait. This is the actual headline. You guys can Google it if you want.
And by the way, The Guardian is fairly highbrow. It's a good, proper, solid news source. So
Is it? I don't know.
it's not a tabloid. If it
Yeah,
was
no,
like-
it's not. It is. Yeah.
You
I've
expect
seen a lot of interesting articles on there, but I've been told by other people that it's a tabloid. So I don't know.
it's like politics is attached to it. It's a liberal but a fairly solid publication that
So
I like reading.
Here's the question. There is a guy named Paweł Jastuk. I don't know how to say his name. It's Polish. And he takes pictures of drunk salarymen on the street. Passed out. I mean, completely passed out. And I think it's... I mean, I understand the fascination, and I would probably take a picture as well. But I think to publish those pictures... And, you know, like he's probably, I don't know if he's probably, I assume he's got a book or something, or an exhibit, but he's definitely, I mean, they're all over the Guardian, at least. There's 3 pictures there. I think it's a little, what's the word? Insulting? No, there's another word for it.
I found the link. I'll throw it in the chat here.
Oh.
So this is really terrible.
It's demeaning to Japanese people. I don't think he would do it if it were like, I mean, they're white. I'm sure there are white people who do this. Look, okay, I'm from a Peruvian culture, okay? I was born in Peru, right? I'm partially Peruvian. If you go to Cusco on any Monday morning, you will find tons of native Peruvian Indians passed out on the floor in broad daylight, drunk off their asses.
Right.
I've never seen anyone make a book about it.
Maybe you should. Maybe there's a business opportunity. It could be a new phenomenon. Passed out drug addicts. I mean, oh
no, it's alcohol. You know, Native Americans are infamous for being weak. But the thing is, I'm sure you can find these people everywhere, anywhere, in any country. There are some people going to be passed out on the street on Monday morning or Sunday morning.
So let me, having expressed my disagreement and outrage today on Twitter and had a few conversations about it, including with someone from The Guardian, actually. So I'm tempering myself.
Oh, really? Did you?
I did. Let me be the person here defending The Guardian for a moment, or defending the article and defending the guy for a moment. With the thing that, yes, I think that the key problem here is that those are people. That could be anybody, the one night in the whole year, or these could be chronic alcoholics, but these are people with families. These are people that have jobs, and they're in the most vulnerable position that you can sort of be in. They're in public, you know, they could be robbed, they could be beaten up, they could be arrested. And instead of doing anything to help these guys, he's taking their photos and publishing them on the internet and making an art book about it. So, and plus in Japanese privacy laws, you can't publish someone's photo without their consent. It's actually, you know, you got problems.
I was actually curious about that.
Yeah, you can't. And Europe's now going that way as well. All of that said, so that's the technical problem I have with it. And I also said, look, I think if this was the UK and those were British people, one, there would be outrage about this being published in The Guardian, and two, the person taking the photos probably would have been beaten up a bunch of times. But flipping it around for a minute and defending it, there is something which I'll concede. You know, the photos, like he's doing this as an art project, and he's published a photo book on it, and he's doing it about the theme, the contrast between these very well-dressed, tidy, elegant-looking people in these kind of, you know, fetal poses or whatever, and that kind of juxtaposition. And look, I'll admit myself, as a regular person looking at pictures on the internet, there is something compelling about the imagery of these pictures, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
we
you're
hate
right.
to admit it. We hate to admit it. And when you stop and think that these are people for a moment with families and stuff, you realize, oh, geez, this is wrong, and you shouldn't do that. But at the same time, it is captivating, right? There's an artistic value to it, which even I admit is there. So I don't know, Radrey, settle this. Who's right?
Well, it's hard to say, really. I mean, they call this a false equivalency, but you remember Pharma Bro, right? Martin Shkreli or whatever his name was.
Yeah, that guy, yeah.
The guy who
Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, the Wu-Tang Clan guy.
Yes, I remember.
I mean, like, I guess it's like what you're saying with the whole art thing. Is just that you could even say that trolling is an art in a way. I mean, you could probably pretty much say that this drunk salad man is an art. And I say, I don't know. My attitude is, I mean, call this awful, but keep doing it until you get caught. But I mean, you run the risk of pissing off the wrong person. Yeah. I mean, he ended up going to he's in prison now. Because he pissed off the wrong person.
Who's in prison? Oh, Shkreli.
Shkreli, yeah.
Is he in prison now?
Yeah, he is.
But let's also be clear. Pissing
I
off
think
the wrong person specifically is pissing off a judge by breaking the law.
Right.
But
that's why I said called it false equivalency. But yeah.
But yeah. Well, what I like least about that article is I feel like there's a double standard, and I'm open to being corrected on this. But I believe if those were English people, a British newspaper would ask at least the question, what about the people? Did you get their consent? Are they okay? Is there no issue with this? You'd at least raise it. But there is this thing when you're a British paper covering a Japan story, it's like they're not people anymore. That's what I feel uncomfortable about the most.
Yeah, it does kind of dehumanize them.
And it's part of the exoticism, right? It's doing a racy story about Japan. It's sort of like you can slap any photo and any outrageous byline and get away with it because it's in Japan. And that happens all the time. But, you'd expect more. There are some publications that I expect more of, and that's what I gave my comment along the lines. I don't want to go on the full outrage, internet troll sort of path on it. But I think there's a legitimate criticism. But what about art, though? I mean, like you say, I'm tempted to give the same advice. It's like Sam with the
sushi train thing, or
sushi train thing. To
belt.
me, I love that video. I mean, I
like it too.
That was spontaneous, and it's exactly the same problem as this. It's exactly the same problem as this. And look, both of them I recognize. I reckon that video was like a brilliant video. And it'd probably be impossible to take that video if you got consent from everybody first, right? It wouldn't be spontaneous anymore. Right. The spontaneity that makes it magical, the way that it worked out. There again, these guys aren't even conscious, so I feel like there is a slightly different. there's another level again, but I don't know but to me, there's this thing to. Are we killing art by being all uptight about the idea of consent? I mean,
why, you're concerned about killing an art?
Well, are we going a little bit? Any restriction of freedom of speech, you have to be self-critical.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I mean, here's an interesting comparison. Yeah. Did you ever see that episode of The Simpsons where I'm bringing back the 90s?
Billions, yeah.
Or there's that episode with Marge Simpson where she gets really offended by itchy and scratchy cartoons.
Oh, and they banned it. Yeah.
And then what she does is she talks to like the ratings board to like get them to stop playing violent, itchy and scratchy cartoons.
Right.
And then there's like another. I can't remember exactly what happens in the episode, but basically what happens is Marge Simpson puts in this rule like you can't have violence or nudity or any of these things on TV, and then she ends up censoring something else, something she absolutely did not want to censor.
Right.
And I think that's probably the case here with art, is just that once you censor one thing, you're censoring something else. Yeah.
That's
so I can see your concern, but
that's I can take or leave this. I can appreciate it. I can think, well, it's just a photo book. But if you draw a line that you can't do this, what else exactly? what else do you lose? And you want to give governments the right to step in and say you're not allowed to make that sort of art or make that sort of statement. But there again, I mean, the thing is, there are people in these photos that didn't, give their permission. I don't know. What do you think, Victor?
Well, I think it's racist because, like you said, like you mentioned, if it were white people and British people, they would never do it.
Well, but you know what? We're assuming that, and we live in Japan, and we've got a perspective of privacy that's Japanese-based and hypersensitive. Someone said to me in the UK, you don't need to consent for photography of drunk people in public. If that's true, maybe there's a thing where British people are okay with being photographed like that in public. I wouldn't do it. I'd be worried about getting my ass kicked first and foremost, which you wouldn't have to worry about in Japan.
So then the argument would be that this exists because Japanese are more
sensitive,
artistically appealing.
Well, I think the idea is that you'd have, maybe it's an idea that you have people from outside of Japan who don't understand the sensitivity of this in Japan. And that is also a fear, right? The newspaper is not realizing that this actually raises issues. It's not mentioning that. And maybe the artist doesn't realize that as well. But then what happens when you have all these British tourists coming over doing this and pissing everyone off when they're here, right? Then they should be educated about it.
So you get new rules. That's what happens.
New rules, yeah. But there again, I'm not convinced. I'm pretty sure right now Europe is pretty tough on privacy. They passed a new law on privacy this year, which makes them like the most privacy oriented. Like,
it's the stuff about the GIF stuff, right? Where you can't post GIFs pretty much.
What?
Is that right?
You didn't hear about this? It's like something like you can't post parody, or I can't remember the whole story, but it's something like insane. Like you can't post, like, you know how on Facebook you can post a GIF reacting to somebody's status or something. Supposedly they want to take that away. I don't know the whole story, so maybe I shouldn't even bring it up.
Yeah.
But maybe somebody in the chat knows what I'm talking about. I mean, I saw it on Philip DeFranco. I mean, usually when I can,
true.
Yeah, there you go. It's like whenever
sexy.
I haven't read the article, but there was a headline today on the Atlantic that said YouTubers criticized for making money off their depressed fans, and the feature photograph was Philip DeFranco.
That's another thing.
That's BetterHelp.
Yeah, BetterHelp. But the picture they chose was like, he was like this. He's like, they chose the worst picture. And if you've seen his show, he's not a super attractive man, but there are many pictures where he doesn't look like a complete idiot, and this is not one of them.
Well, the problem is that, again, this whole enterprise, as we've described before, there was a I remember there was a news story we covered that was like, there was a study that said anyone that posts more than 5 selfies per month is a diagnosable psychopath.
Yeah, really.
And we suddenly realized.
I'm at 4, so.
Well, we realized that technically these broadcasts are 24 selfies per second for an hour. So we're like, we're basically mega psychopaths.
We've actually proven we're all psychopaths in this video.
Yeah, and all that they've done is just taken one of those psycho selfies of DeFranco and used it against him. So that's buyer beware.
Okay, so I looked it up. I guess it's supposedly something in the European Union about Article 13 of the Proposal Directive of the European Parliament and the Council of Copyright in the Digital Single Market is proposed a piece of. Oh, this is a lot of legal mumbo jumbo. I don't know how I could shorten all this, but pretty much they want to get rid of memes.
Well, I can't blame them for that. Well, it's copyright. This is the internet copyright thing, right? They basically want to stop people republishing stuff on the internet. Yeah, that's a different thing. I'm thinking more of the privacy laws, but there's a lot of stuff. Europe's very big on telling people what not to do.
Here's something, Hiko, you might be able to explain that I never quite understood, but in England, there's even if something's true, for example,
yeah.
Let's say that there's a very famous duke or something who's been caught cheating on his wife. Okay?
The queen. Okay.
Duke or something.
Yes,
and I read an article about this. Apparently, even if it's true, he can actually file some kind of, something in court that stops everybody from talking about it.
Yes.
Even though it's completely true. So I don't know.
And he can get money. Yeah.
How can you stop people from talking about the truth?
Well, defamation law is different in different countries, but New Zealand's very similar to UK, where it's easy to bring cases. the onus of proving truth is so truth is a defense, but it's all. Now wait a minute. But it's on the onus of the person presenting it to prove that it's true. And if they can't prove definitively that it's true, and the opinion expressed would cause a reasonable average Joe in the street to think less of that person, then that person can claim damages, and they can force an injunction to stop the information going out. So, yeah, Commonwealth countries, it's pretty easy to bring defamation. You know, you need to absolutely prove it true to be able to get away with it. If it's something that causes people to think less of someone. So it has to be a derogatory truth, like had an affair or stole money or, you know, slaps babies or something. If once you say that, if you can't absolutely back it up and prove it definitively, then yeah, you're going to have to apologize, pay money, and probably retract the article. Yeah.
And that law is also in basically it's very similar laws here in Japan, right?
Different laws. So in Commonwealth countries, it works based on case law. It works based on court history. In Japan, it's legislated. It's a different thing, but it works kind of the same. In Japan as well, it's a really high burden to defend. Yeah, a libel claim. Sorry, okay. I don't want to.
There was a
welcome to Law Corner.
No, I remember years ago there was a foreigner here who was accused of all this inappropriate behavior, and
there was only one foreigner who was accused of inappropriate behavior.
He threatened to sue people, and I remember at the time, Hiko Simon said he actually might have a case.
Oh.
Well, I'm not an expert on the Japan on civil code stuff, but yeah, you know.
I remember talking about it then, and yeah, it was something similar to basically if you're taking away his ability to make money or you're damaging his ability to make money, even if it's completely true, you can't repeat it publicly.
Well, you always put yourself at risk that they can at least sue you. They're at least entitled to sue you if it harms them. And after they sue you, the only way you can get out of it is if you can definitively prove the truth of the statement. And even then, you'll be out of pocket for the court stuff and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, if someone really wants to double down and go after you here, which is a hassle to do, yeah, even if it's true, you can go through a lot of hell, especially if you can't prove it.
So if you can't prove it, you should basically keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, which I think is a good lesson for life. You know, if you can't.
That's what Melania recently said about rape.
Yeah, well, that's again a totally different conversation again. But just generally speaking, if you want to go on and accuse people, if you want to go on and badmouth people or whatever, and say that, you know, I hear that so and so is a drug dealer. If you want to say that on a YouTube video, yeah, you better weigh up. Can I back that statement up? And you know, if they decide to retaliate, yeah, you got to take into account, is that a really smart thing to say? You know, and you got to be pretty confident and have a good reason for it.
Well, so if I said, you know, I think Radrey looks like a drug dealer, that would be okay.
Depends. If you say, yeah, if we'll talk about Radrey, you know, having a drug empire, yeah, you know, and Radrey wanted to drag you into Tokyo District Court, you'd probably have to go and explain yourself. And if you say, I thought it was a funny joke, they'll say, yeah, funny joke, take down the video and pay him a shit ton of money. That won't be a lot of money either. So he might like you to do that. But yeah, you know, but label is different in every country, and I'm not an expert on how it works in Japan.
All right.
Yeah. So this case isn't that. This is just passed out people on the street. It's a compelling thing. I kind of get the.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's definitely not. It's not an interpretation. Those people are passed out for sure.
Yeah, but apparently the poses and the cool clothes and everything. Apparently he goes out, he takes photos of these people.
They're compelling. They're interesting.
I mean, he curates the best photos.
I would feel bad about buying the book because I would feel like immoral, but I'd probably look through the whole. If someone had one, I'd be compelled to look through the whole thing.
Okay, Radrey, what's more immoral? Standing in a convenience store and reading the whole magazine and then putting it back, or paying for it?
You mean any kind of magazine?
Yeah, any kind of magazine. Reading the contents and putting it back, or paying for it.
I don't know. I mean, my philosophy when it comes to like morals and it's my philosophy is just don't get caught. Maybe it's a horrible thing to live by. But
Well, it's practical. I admire the practicality. So
yeah. If you get caught, then that's game over. It's like if you're going to be deviant, then, well, you're being deviant.
true enough.
I mean, yeah, just be aware of what the rules are. And if you don't know what the rules are, you'll learn them pretty quickly.
Also true. Also true.
And if not, you'll learn them in jail. So.
Where you'll be incentivized to pay attention.
Yeah, well, jail does wonders for your body. I mean, especially Japanese jail. You saw that guy who had stock in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Mount Gox guy. He was a big guy. Did
He was big, and then he came out of prison, and he was good looking, you know. Like, man, I didn't even want to have sex with him, you know. He was that good looking.
That's pretty good looking.
I know.
Well, I don't
Look
know.
it up.
I don't know how high your standards are, but you know.
Yeah, I know. They're pretty high.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to paint you a picture. What?
Awkward silence.
I said they're
Yeah,
pretty high
brilliant.
for me, for men, because I've not met a man that I wanted to have sex with.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't either, really. In all honesty,
Looking
no.
for Mr. Right. That's going to be the
I
title
also
of
haven't
the
been to
video.
jail.
Yeah, there you go. I'll be your gayest episode. Victor, you had something to say?
No, just thinking that in jail, I probably
Thinking of Mr. Right.
stay
Mr. Right in jail. I don't know.
because I got gray hair and I wouldn't be the most attractive bitch to go after. But you still got nice black hair, so. And of course, Hiko would just.
I think he meant that as a compliment.
He would just join the white nationalist gang or the skin.
Yeah.
I think I'd automatically be made
Yeah,
the leader.
You do well in prison, Hiko. I think is what Victor's trying to say.
That's good to know. I'll bear that in mind
I'm
when
just saying
next
that
time I want to
Radrey-
make a bad decision.
Probably has the most to fear in prison.
Probably, yeah. I agree with you there. So, I usually try not to be too deviant in this world we live in. I don't know.
Well,
It's hard to say, when you have all these shades of gray in the world we live in today.
50, so I hear. Yeah, I tried watching that movie. I tried watching it. I got like 15 minutes into it. Oh my god!
Was he not? Was he hashtag not your Christian?
Oh, 50.
No, that was just.
I have not even tried. I'm not.
It was a badly made movie. I just couldn't. And it wasn't. It's super cringy. Seriously, like it's like. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the
That was-
book was written by a woman on her BlackBerry going to and from work, on her phone every day. That's how it was written. So give you some perspective.
Well, there we go. By
Yeah.
the way, have you seen The Room?
Yeah, of course.
Great movie.
I watched that.
Maybe Room is a great movie.
Well, but The Room in its own way, I watched it a few weeks ago, and I kind of became like I watched it like 3 times after that.
Really?
Oh my god.
I love that
I
movie.
can't get through it. I can't get through it. I have to skip certain scenes.
What?
Well, what
The
scene?
sex scenes, they just get to me like, oh god, another sex scene?
There's like
I
4 in
wanna
the first. There's 4 in the first 30 minutes, but you realize that the first scene and the third scene are copied and pasted. They actually they reuse the same shots in the third scene, but it's all crammed within 30 minutes. I mean, no, but just the awkwardness, the weird music, the lines, the impossible body and camera angles. I mean, even those are in their own way. Like
You're talking about that movie where the woman and her son are in a room?
no.
So that's Room. This is the Tommy Wiseau, The Room.
Oh, the Tommy
One of
Wiseau. Oh no, I haven't seen that one yet.
So they use The Room apparently in film schools now in the US. It's like an exam question of how many issues can you spot with the scene, and they actually put it up, and it's like the camera's in and out of focus the whole time. The background props they left. They didn't take out the photos of the normally when you buy a photo frame from the Walmart or whatever, you put photos in them, and the default they just have random pictures, which apparently at Walmart they all just have pictures of spoons in the frames, and they just apparently Wiseau said, We won't bother putting photos and just leave them as spoons. So all the background, all the family photos are all of spoons in the background. I mean, it's like there's layers and layers and layers. Oh, and you know how like when you cut a shot, like so you're an editor. How like you know when you do dialogue and you're cutting from shot to shot, you know you do it pause, talk, pause, and then you cut so you make the rhythm normal. They leave all the pauses in, so every they cut it all the wrong places. So basically, every conversation, everything they say has like a 1 second gap in between every phrase. I mean, like I say, if you watch every scene and its badness, every scene is deep. You can pause and stop after every scene and go deep on analyzing it. It's actually like I don't know. I love it. But again, as a lawyer, I like looking at fact problems and seeing how many problems there are with them. And this movie is like this wonderful fact problem with just very layers and layers of problems.
So you love the nitpick.
Oh man, it's incredible.
I'll tell you, that's not the worst movie I've ever seen. I've seen one worse than this. I mean, the one worse than this is Birdemic. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
Okay. We should talk movies with you sometime as well, actually, because I know that you're a buff as well.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I gotta go. Buff. We're up past the hour, and I've got to actually drop off soon. So for today, I can't go much longer.
Everyone, Radrey has a show called Why Come to Japan. He's got
Why Come Japan
up, in which he interviews people and asks them the ever relevant question: Why come Japan? And the question, the answers will fascinate you. So please check out his channel. What is the name of? I'm sorry. What's the name of your channel actually?
Radrey, R-A-D-R-E-Y.
Radrey. Okay,
it's my name. Like Ari, my real name is Radley.
Your Twitter name is different. That's why it's confusing.
Yeah, I tried to get Radrey, but it's taken. So maybe I should just change. Maybe it should be like Trump and just do real Radley. Change it to that.
How about fake news Radrey?
All right, no.
Make Radrey great again.
Yeah, there you go. It's too long. All right, it's fine. I can take it. Yeah, so go over, subscribe to my channel if you can. I really, really would appreciate it. I'm trying to build the channel. I'm trying to get more guests on the show. I mostly interview people about the creativity here in Japan. I interview like graphic designers, filmmakers, musicians, YouTubers, you name it.
Scam artists.
All the above. Yeah, scam artists, pickup artists, cons.
Those are interesting.
Whoever you want to see that's somewhat in some way correlated with Japan. Sometimes I can just crowbar in Japan. Let's say nothing to do with Japan. Maybe we'll kind of figure something out. But yeah, still looking for guests. If you want to be on the show, let me know. Follow us on iTunes.
Get Hiko on the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Hiko on the show. Hiko, actually, I haven't even asked Hiko. Hiko, would you like to be on the show?
I'm not bitter. It's okay. I'm gonna wait till your channel becomes much bigger. I'm gonna wait for that sweet spot. But anytime, of course, I'm happy to. I would love to. If when I become sufficiently interesting to be a guest on your show, I would love to do that.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it because usually I kind of wait in particular when I ask certain guests, like when I formulate questions in my mind, like, okay, I definitely want to ask this, or I definitely want to ask that. You know, this way it's not like Phil just dead air, or Thut's just talking about, I don't know, politics or something. But sometimes it gets to that way, but sometimes it kind of relates and correlates with what we're talking about. But
yeah,
it's a chat and chill podcast, basically.
Indeed.
Well, I'll put a link to your channel in the description after this goes live, and I've already put it in the comments. So, but anyone, you could look up Radrey YouTube, and it will come up. I already tried it; it works for sure. So try that out, guys. And thanks a lot, Radrey.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, I gotta ask you one. We gotta finish with one question. What the hell is up with that T-shirt?
Oh, well, I mean, it says Koroshimasu, means killing. Yeah. Have you ever seen
I can't see the rest of it. Just says I only see Koroshimasu.
Yeah, I'll stand up. You ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Of course.
It's the kawaii version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's kawaii.
Yeah, I mean, I love this shirt.
I'm killing, basically. I will kill.
Yeah. I can't wear this to school though, so
Yeah.
I'm only wearing it home.
I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
Well, in Japan, it'd be distasteful, but in America, they would call the SWAT team. if they could
Oh,
read it.
they can't even read Japanese. Like, they probably should like, wow, look at that cool kanji on his shirt.
Yeah.
You know?
What
says-
does it mean?
Yeah.
That's true.
Is there any like?
If it was Arabic, there would be a SWAT team.
Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely.
Check out
All right, guys.
the non-lethal version of Radrey on YouTube. Links in the description coming soon after the
He's got a great show. You should check it out. And his channel has some awesome vids.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
actually really well edited videos. So look for
Try to do something called video essays that take forever to make, but when they come up, just wait for them. Trust me, it'll be worth it. It's one of those wait for it videos.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Cool.
Yep. Thank you.
See you later, Hiko.
See ya.
Bye. See you, Higo. Victor. Bye-bye.
Off. Okay.